All right, take two. Welcome back to the show, everybody. It's what? When did we do the last one? It was like over a week ago.
That was a week ago.
Uh, yeah.
Yes, it
Last
was.
time you saw the riveting conversation between Ryan, Sal, and I about the Marvel universe. This week we have something special for you. I had to peel myself away from Zelda. Um,
Oh, that's right.
I've been playing that nonstop. Shout out to Ryan. Ryan's been playing. It's a masterpiece. And speaking of masterpieces, what are we doing today, Sal?
We are doing our top five favorite movies of all times. Now, we're not saying the top five movies ever made. No, no, no. That's for the critics.
Mm-hmm.
We're stupid. This is our favorite five top movies. The five
Mm-hmm.
movies that affected us personally, Alexis and me, personal favorite movies, top five.
Yeah.
You might listen to it and you go like, "Oh, that wouldn't put that there," because that's because you're stupid and that's your life. In our
Mm-hmm.
life, these five movies are what affected us.
I try to do a little a combo of the two. I try to do like these are I try to okay, so there's so many there's like oh, here's five movies that you could watch if you're on a desert island if you had to bring them with you. Here's five movies if you had to recommend to an alien who's never watched um film. I would say you should
Yeah.
probably watch these five movies. There's like the most entertaining five movies. Like I try to do a little bit of a combo of every like what I would bring on a desert island, what I consider like, hey, these are great, perfect movies to me. So sue
Mine,
me.
mine. I'm just gonna be like, I was cool. That was a fat dragon. I thought it was
Yeah.
cool.
Oh
uh,
man, when Captain America threw his shield, I was like, oh wow.
wow, wow. I was
Yeah.
like, part of me thought I could be Captain America.
Do you have any Marvel movies in there?
No, no,
Okay.
no.
Yeah.
No, I
Yeah.
didn't. I didn't know. No,
And that
these are
sucks.
like
Like,
these are like personal movies.
okay,
Like these
okay.
movies like affected me growing up. That I was like, it's one of those movies that I can watch over and over again, and
Hmm.
it's very rare for me because I can't really rewatch a lot of movies because I already know what's gonna happen.
Hmm.
But these five movies are like growing up. Like I was like, oh, cool. Like these are
Hmm.
movies that affected like how I like enjoyed movies and like I can rewatch these movies. And there's some honorable
Hmm.
mentions that I didn't include in my top five because I was like, I feel like people would be really mad if I put them there. But
Yeah.
uh, mine are very like there's no cool indie. You know, is there a classic in there? There's kind of a classic in there.
I think if
Um,
if I'm guessing what they are, there's a couple in there, yeah.
there's like one that's like in the 80s. One is technically late 90s,
Uh-huh.
and the other ones are like early 2000s. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm somewhere around there. I've got some classics in there. I have a lot of good ones like in the honorable mentions that I
Yeah,
was
me
like
too.
and
But here's the
then
thing: there's some really good movies that I'm like, these are really good movies, right?
yeah.
And I love them. But the movie that I chose have sentimental value to me. Like that's the thing. Like I chose these five movies because I was like, I can show these movies to whoever I want to, and they get to see my personality based on these five movies.
Uh-huh.
That's kind of
I'll
like
I'll
why.
kick it up a notch here. I try to get like they're nostalgic, but to me they're objective quality. There's high quality to them and they may not be your cup of tea, but it's like, oh, okay, this is like uh just because I feel like nostalgia, yes, it plays a part in every, but like nostalgia isn't as it can be what do you call that? Alienating to some people. Like, oh
Yeah,
wow, like I have no frame of reference for that. Like some people, I'll start like with this, like Lord of the Rings. People fucking love Lord of the Rings,
yeah.
and it's
I,
like
I,
on
yeah.
it's on so many top movie lists, and I'm like,
I fall
th-
asleep every time. I've never been able to watch one.
yeah, I acknowledge that they're high quality and maybe they match the books and
Oh yeah,
they're super cool and the effects are great and the acting is great and the characters are fun. They're so fucking boring to me. I can't
yeah.
watch them.
And we just
Um,
lost about 80% of our viewers.
I'm sorry.
It's
Uh,
okay.
No, I'm not sorry. Yes, I am.
Hashtag.
I'm a little sorry. I don't want to alienate you, but at the same time, I just don't get it. Not for me.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll watch it again when I'm 40.
And you go like and fall asleep again.
Yeah.
uh, I've literally tried to watch
Doo-doo-doo.
them like 5 times, and one of them was at your house. And
Yeah.
granted, though, a lot of the time people want to watch it. It's like late at night or whatever, and they're like, "Hey, we should watch it." And then I'm like, "All right," and then it just has been.
I tried that. I tried watching on the big screen again when they'll rescreen it, and it's just like I don't know what's happening. Like I start to tune out after a while. But I'm also not big into fantasy.
I'm not
But
either.
I hike with the In Dreams. I'll play that when I'm hiking because that's such a good little tune. The do 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 do
Oh, the
do
the Lord of the Rings
do.
Hobbit song.
Yeah, I play that on my phone when I'm hiking in the mountains, and I'll loop it. So I'll hike
Loop
for
it,
like an
poop it.
hour. Yeah,
Yeah.
loop it,
Oh yeah.
poop it, indeed.
All right. Cool. Let's. You want to kick it off with your number five?
Yeah, should we start with honorable mentions, or should we start with five?
No, I
Let's
feel like we
do.
should. Let's do
Yeah, I
what
know what you're gonna
Mojo
say.
does.
Yeah,
Like once we both finish a second, do the honorable mentions, and then go to
we
the
go
first.
five, four, three,
Four,
two.
three, two,
Honorable
one. Yeah,
mentions.
and then one.
You're a smart guy. You're a smart guy.
Welcome to Mojo.com.
Okay, ready for this one?
Yeah,
You want me to go first?
yeah. Go first.
All right.
Number
This one
five.
is
Alex, number five.
it's a classic. I would say it's the best horror movie of all time. And
What?
it
Are you
yeah.
gonna put what I think you're gonna put up there?
I was close to putting what I think you think I'm gonna put there. It's not gonna be
Okay.
that, but I was very close.
Okay.
And it is The Thing, John Carpenter's remake.
Oh, I thought you were gonna put The Exorcist.
Oh no, I thought you thought I was gonna say Hereditary.
Oh
We
no.
have to do a separate top five horror movies because that's
Yeah,
like there's so The
definitely up there.
Exorcist, Hereditary, like that's
Yeah, the thing is, yes, the practical effects in that movie is fucking unbelievable. Go ahead, do your thing. Why do you put it
well.
at number five?
I was gonna say like Hereditary was gonna be an honorable mention, but let's just get it out of the way right now. Hereditary is like it's a near perfect horror movie,
Yeah,
so it makes you feel awful. Yada yada yada. But yeah, The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing, is funny, action, great performances from everybody. Keith David, uh, Wilford Brimley is great in it. Great practical effects. Kurt Russell, of course. It has everything that I think you would want in a horror movie. I've seen it a million times. I'd watch it over and over and over again. It's a movie that I can watch at any time, and I'll finish it all the way through. It's
and also
horrible, huh?
the practical effects in that movie, they did things that they had never been done before for the time.
It's nuts.
Yeah, they had to do like when the alien like jumps out, they
Mm-hmm.
had to reverse it.
Mm-hmm.
Like reverse it to create that effect, and they had to do a bunch of things that had never been done before to create the effects that they were going for. And even for like now, like it's still, I mean, it's still, of course, with CGI and all that stuff, it's a little different, but it still holds up, man. You can still watch that movie and enjoy the fuck out of it.
I would watch the practical effects in The Thing over. I'd put it up against any CGI in a movie. I mean, it's so horrifying to see even now. It's so
Yeah,
slimy and like Lovecraftian, cosmic, like nasty tentacles. And who's who's the who's the artist who does he did like the alien stuff?
Ryan Poncio.
Ryan Poncio, yes sir. Anyway,
Yeah, man.
I don't think there's much more that can be said about it that hasn't been said already by many other people.
Okay.
Give me your number five.
Oh man, I feel like you're gonna laugh at this, but this movie growing up, it came out when I first moved here, and we saw it in movie theaters, a comedy, and we saw it in movie theaters, and it's the first time that I ever heard my dad cackle in a movie theater,
Was
like
it
laugh
White
out
Chicks?
loud. No. My dad fucking
Yeah.
loves white chicks. Let me tell you.
White chicks. Whew, the Wayans
Oh my
brothers.
goodness. Yeah. They were like, they're black, pero white. How did what?
Yeah.
Uh, so it's one of those movies too that I love the plot. The casting is it's phenomenal. Uh, the jokes in there. There's so many jokes in there, and so many well done jokes. I would say is one of the best, if not the best, Jim Carrey movie. And I'm gonna go my number 5 with Bruce Almighty.
Wow, I did not
I
expect
I
that.
know, I know. I fucking love that movie. We had it in DVD. Uh, it's I mean, as far as comedies go, man. I mean, you have a lot of really good comedies, and the reason why I put this number 5 is one, it was the first time I ever heard my dad cackle in a movie theater, like almost cry, and it was of course the part where he's like that
Uh
whole
huh.
part, like, is so funny. I love the whole storyline of it. The casting is been great. The
I just like the
jokes.
idea of your dad cackling like a witch.
My dad was laughing.
Yeah.
It's one of those it's one of those movies that you could show it anywhere in the world, and I think you can get really good reactions. We used to have it in DVD, and we used to just watch it in the car because we had the little DVD player
Yeah.
over and over again. I love Jim Carrey. Like in the early movies, it was literally between that one and Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, but which is a great fucking movie. Why you read like that? You hate that movie?
That's one of those movies where I'm like, I got it. Like, I would put that in like the so there's honorable mention category, and then there's category of like, yeah, well, I guess like The Godfather, uh, Shawshank Redemption, like those are on like, yeah, of course.
But like, I just feel like you can be having a bad day. I mean, I really
Bruce
like Bruce
Almighty's
Almighty.
fun.
Yeah, it's they have the big sentimental feeling to me, and I honestly think that you could show it to anyone and get a reaction out of them. Uh, I'll go into my honorable mention of the other comedy that I was thinking of that I could watch over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Uh, but Bruce Almighty is about one of my top 5 movies that I enjoy watching.
I also feel like that's one of the last, and I think most people would agree. That's one of the last like Jim Carrey nostalgia, like
Yeah.
high concept movies, like Liar Liar, Me Myself and Irene, The Mask. Like a lot of those, they're very they're like a symptom of the '90s to have this super high concept comedy where like, oh, this guy can't do this or this guy gets this, and that's the whole movie.
Yeah. But I thought it was
That's
very
the
well done. I mean,
yeah.
you have Morgan Freeman as God.
Hmm.
Come on, who else can do? I mean, and a lot of people still like remember him as God from that movie. Uh, the jokes. I mean, there's so many good jokes when he's parting the soup with his mind, and the soup
Yeah,
opens up. The I
I
got
feel
the
like
power bit.
everybody
The monk.
remembers
Yeah,
the monkey.
the monkey going to the guy's butt.
Yeah,
The 7 fingers in one hand. Uh,
his red face always like the
yeah.
whenever the monkey goes up his butt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean the whole Evan thing in the news is really funny.
Hmm.
The whole message of the movie of it like him like not being perfect and all this shit going wrong and everything. I thought it was really cool. Uh, I just thought the whole movie for me was such a fun, great movie, and I can watch it. I haven't seen it in a hot minute, but I just
Do
remember growing
religious
up.
people like that movie, or is that offensive to
I don't
like
know.
hardcore Christians and Catholics?
I mean, I wouldn't think it is because they have a good message to it.
Yeah. Is
God is
it
black.
is it part of yeah?
Yeah. Um, I think the only
Goodbye.
people that really don't like that movie is the KKK. Other than that, you know, the
Other
KKK and
than
the
that,
Nazis.
lot of fans of this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, excuse me.
Yeah, that's my number 5.
All right, shout out to number 5.
Yeah.
One down for each of us. How you feeling?
Uh, Drunk. No.
Are you drunk?
No. I don't know.
You tired of drinking?
Yeah, I went to the doctor and my test results came back and like uh all the things that like have to do with like your liver and drinking are a little high. And
Whoa, that's
like I
scary.
just no, just like a little bit, like nothing too crazy.
Uh huh.
So, but I had already like I'm only drinking Monday. Like I'm not drinking Monday to Friday, like during the week.
Uh huh.
So I have a drink like Saturday and Sunday, but I'm not drinking in the week anymore. So
Yeah, that's crazy. Did you get blood tested?
yeah,
And you, oh
it's
yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's 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 nothing like crazy, but
Hmm.
it's just a little higher than normal. And my doctor's like, hey, let's keep an eye on that. So I was
Yeah.
like, all right,
And you didn't pass out when you got your blood tested?
nah, I don't know.
I
And I
pass
don't have
out.
any STDs, so
That's good.
yeah, dude. So girls, fuck me. Let's change that. No. All right. Number four.
Number 4, Watch Mojo. This episode is sponsored by the Magic Candle Company.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Please sponsor us, Magic Candle Company, because
Yeah.
I have like 7 or 8 of these. No, we have more. We have like 9 to 12 now, and they smell like theme parks.
Theme parks. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so like they have the smell of like
Oh, the games.
the
Like the
games.
rides. The rides. Sorry.
Yeah. Like they have a Pirates of the Caribbean smell, and it smells like the what is it? The
Like
bromine, whatever they
pirate
put in the
asshole.
water. Pirate asshole. Yeah. And they have like smells of the hotels. So like if you wanted to smell like the Polynesian hotel, because they all have like specific signature scents, uh, and they make your house smell like that, and it's pretty cool. We're not sponsored by them. I just really enjoy the smells.
Nice. That's pretty cool.
Number 4.
You use promo code Mijos.
Yeah, promo code Mijos.
I'm so excited to get sponsored that we can do promo code Mijos.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
What do you think my number 4 is gonna be?
Shrek.
No,
Oh,
but good guess.
yeah. Uh, I know what your number one is.
You know what my
Uh,
number 1 is.
and I'm pretty sure you know what my number one is.
Yeah, I know where it's one of them is gonna be. All right, I'm just gonna
Uh,
throw it out there.
all right, go for it.
All right, number 4 movie that I highly recommend to you, movie Miho's audience, is Kung Fu Hustle.
Oh, that's right. I
Mm-hmm.
could have. Oh, that's great. It's a
You
great
could have
fucking
got that.
movie. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a great movie.
it's a Chinese movie. It's directed by Stephen Chow. He's done a couple things, but he doesn't. He kind of stays over there. There's a lot of like you forget, but like there's a whole other world of cinema that like they don't care about coming to the U.S. Like they don't care about coming to Hollywood.
Well, also, I
Um,
mean, especially in China, where like most of the population is. So
yeah,
you know,
like they'll just make movies over there, and they're like, no, I don't need to break out in Hollywood. I'm fine over here.
yeah.
But yeah, Kung Fu Hustle. It's a it's a over the top cartoony Looney Tunes like take on classic kung fu movies.
Yeah.
And like it's very
It's
like
really funny.
yeah, it's like Dragon Ball Z meets Looney Tunes. Like they have all these different martial arts forms, like frog form, toe stepping form, like and they show it, and it
The music, the music fight is really cool.
yeah, there's a really cool over the top fight where they're playing a classic Chinese instrument, and it creates like swords, like whenever they're playing the strums on it. Super funny. Everybody does great in it. Every character is so memorable. It's if you can, I recommend the subtitle version, but there is an English dub that makes it easier if you can't stand
No,
subtitles.
oh man,
Huh?
I really feel like people should at least watch the movie, like all the foreign movies, on their with their natural language with
Mm-hmm.
subtitles, and then after that, go ahead and put it in like rewatch it in English.
Yeah,
But yeah, that movie is just so good.
yeah. It's
What was your number five? I can't remember.
The Thing.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah. Um, it has a little bit of love. I thought that they would make a sequel at some point. There some people talk about it, but it's at this point I feel like it's kind of been buried. I always try to push it on to people, say what like it's really fun. It's really dumb. Um it especially if you love like action over the top that doesn't take itself seriously, that
Yeah.
it's so good.
Hell yeah.
Number 4.
Uh,
Go fool.
this movie came out in 1999.
Uh-huh.
Uh, I watched it. I knew about it even as a kid. But I didn't watch it till like 2002, 2003.
Mhm.
And then I fucking fell in love with that movie and the universe, and I loved playing the video game. Like the video game was one of my favorite fucking video games of all time. So my number four is gonna be The Matrix.
Oh wow, I thought you were
I
going to say Spider-Man.
Oh no, I love the first Matrix. That
Uh-huh.
movie. I mean, like I said, the practical effects that they did and like all they had to do to create like the effects that they did in that movie, I think changed a lot of action movies to come after that.
Mhm.
The whole storyline behind it was I loved it. Like I remember playing the game The Matrix again for the GameCube or for the PS2,
Uh-huh.
and I fucking loved it. I think it's one of those movies that has like a cool storyline, like man versus machine, but there's like this Matrix world where we live in. Um, the fight scenes were so fucking cool. Like I had never seen anything like it. Uh, I do like the whole trilogy. Um, I did not like the fourth one.
It's because
Uh,
I wasn't in it.
yeah, that's right. For people that don't know that, my boy over here auditioned for it, and dumbass posted it on Vimeo, and they found it, and they made a whole article being like, they're making the new Matrix, and this guy's gonna be in it with your picture. And your agents were like, take that shit down right
Yeah,
now.
sorry. Shout out to Carmen Cuba who cast it. She was pretty mad.
Yeah. Um, did you ever get an audition from her again?
I did. I got a couple big
Okay.
ones this year.
Oh, nice. They were
But
like,
I
please don't put
can't
that
say
shit on
anything about
Vimeo.
them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, please. But if you go to
Yeah.
Vimeo, you might be able to find them. No.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh,
no.
she doesn't take Vimeo auditions anymore.
I wonder why. Weird.
She was like no, you have to do it directly through WeTransfer. You send it like no links to Vimeo specifically. It's like,
That's so
well,
funny. You were like, oh, whoopsie.
yeah.
But yeah, The Matrix is gonna be, and I think like, it was one of those movies that really hit. Like, it was a movie that became a staple. Uh, and it rose the bar for action movies. To be like, if you're gonna create an action movie, like step it the fuck up because um
You idiot, you
you're an
moron.
idiot. So I personally really like it. I think that action film is it's one of my favorite movies. Uh and even that trilogy is so much fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
But
What?
I feel like my list is not so cool.
Why?
I don't know.
Sometimes let's see, like I feel like two of my one of them is The Thing, and then my number one pick. They're so like, really? So I don't think you need to feel bad about it. It's not about like the Criterion Collection or Turner
Right.
Classic Movies. Um, it's more like what do you? I don't know what made you you, all those kind of things. I'm inarticulate today. I guess
That's good.
that's just the truth of it. I
Uh,
did have an honorable mention, kind of in the realm of the Matrix, but I'll talk about that later.
gotcha.
I think you'll go,
Okay.
oh yeah, that's cool.
Cool.
Um,
Number three.
Number 3, Miss Mojo. For
Mrs.
me,
Doubtfire.
number 3, Miss Doubtfire. We miss you, Robin. Um, Um, that made my wife pop in the other room. um, this one is what? Did, did that get you? Yeah.
We make
This
you
one is
laugh.
uh oh man. This one, I think this is the best movie in his uh repertoire. This is his best movie, and I think it's a movie that you should have to be film literate in the Lord's year 2023.
Oh,
It's a
can I
movie
guess?
that guess.
Pulp Fiction.
No, but that was an honorable mention. I was like, man, I feel like I need to put it there, but also that
Interesting.
I agree. That is the best in his as well. But that one's
Yeah.
like my favorite is Once Upon a Time or Kill Bill. It's
Gotcha.
like close, but
Uh
Once
huh.
Upon a Time took over later. But a lot of people don't like it, so I didn't want to pick that.
Okay.
Um, this is a Wes Anderson love. I'm gonna give here. Grand
Ooh.
Budapest Hotel is my number three.
Interesting. I
Um,
rewatched it recently. I watched it for the
mhm.
first time so recently,
Uh
and
huh.
I was kind of a little lost. I feel like I have to rewatch it.
Hmm.
But yeah, okay, go ahead. Why?
It starts off very confusing, so I get it. Like the first time I watched, but once you watch it, it makes sense. You go, okay, cool. But the first 10 minutes, they do like a story within a story within a story, so you
Right,
get
right.
you get lost right away, but then it immediately makes sense right after.
What?
Um,
What made you choose that?
that this is probably the most artsy movie on my list.
Yeah.
In that, like, stylistically, obviously Wes Anderson has a very specific style. Every movie's kind of the same. They're all super symmetrical. The pastel colors, and to me, this movie exemplifies having a very particular vision for a movie. Uh, every single thing about it, from the performances to the super tight script, like it's so nitpicky. It's like Kubrick levels of nitpicky. Like every single thing has to be done a very specific way or it doesn't work. um and it's like watching a comic book and a cartoon, and honestly, it's hard to pinned down because he is so his own thing, and this movie is him at his best. It's the most Wes Anderson movie. um it's just so funny, so heartwarming, so charming, and I feel like anybody who watches it's a little bit elevated in that, like, it's not necessarily for everybody, but I feel like it's pretty damn close. It's like a step out of reach of, like, I don't know, if somebody's going to watch Fast and Furious, not that, like, not to shit on somebody who likes Fast and Furious. We all like dumb fun movies, right? But this is like it's a little bit out of reach of somebody like the general audience who would like a movie like a Marvel movie or Fast and Furious, but say they don't watch anything else. Um, but I feel like it's a good introduction to this is a high quality uh artsy movie that is also very digestible and inviting. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I feel like my favorite of his has been I Love Dogs.
That's a good one too.
Yeah, but yeah, definitely. I gotta rewatch it, man, because I feel like I watched it and I was like, I don't get it.
Uh huh.
Like I did get it, but I there's a lot of things that I forgot and stuff like that. So I have to rewatch it because it is a good
Watch it
movie.
again. It's really creative. It's not like I mean, the country that is in, like, everything is made up. It's all insular. Like, it's not, you don't really need to know anything else going into it.
Yeah,
Um, and it's so charming to watch. Every single frame in it is like a painting. Like, literally, you can take any frame, and and that's intentional. Have you seen the TikTok trend of the Wes Anderson?
yeah. I so many of them. I fucking love them.
I well, I was gonna say I hate most of them, but that's because a good amount of them don't do Wes Anderson, and
Yeah,
that's
but the good ones are great.
the good ones are great. The good ones are like, wow, like his quick zooms on faces and then panning to the right to somebody, then panning back, and then I was talking to Nikki about it, but like one of the big things is symmetry. He takes for every shot, he takes like a tape measure and goes across the room and finds the exact middle. And apparently, it's a real bitch to shoot, but it makes for a great product. So a lot of this like TikToks and stuff, I'm like, you're missing the fundamental thing, which is like everything has to be symmetrical. Otherwise, it doesn't look like a Wes Anderson movie. And I
Yeah,
think that must have been so hard to make. I'm every time I watch it, I'm so impressed by it.
yeah. Wow.
Bye. All
Yeah,
right,
I gotta watch it.
number three. Give our listeners a kiss in their
Uh,
ear.
this is definitely a classic. I am a huge fan of time traveling movies. I love them. I love anything that has to do with it. Uh, and of course, my number three is, I don't know if you can see it, the pen right here.
Wait, I can't. I can't
Oh
see it.
man.
Oh, there it is. Wow.
Back to the Future has got in my number three.
We just watched that the other day. That's really good.
It's
The
it's
first one.
such a yeah, the first one. It's such a good fucking movie. It's it's uh it's such a hard story to like put together. Like, to just, I mean, if you think about it, like, okay, we're gonna, because if somebody made a really funny joke about this, where it's like, all right, I'm gonna pitch a story. Is this kid who goes back in time, and then his mom gets a crush on him. She tries to fuck him. He doesn't do it, you know, but he has to make his dad fall in love with his mom, and try to find it's just such a crazy.
You're like a drunk Theo
Yeah,
talking about
hey,
it.
let me tell you about Volver al Futuro. Um, it's just such the soundtrack is so good. The songs are so good. The characters are unbelievable. It's just such a fun movie to watch. Uh, the whole, like, I mean, the whole story is great. I I love that movie from beginning to end. Uh, two and three, I like two. A lot of people hate three. Uh, but when you hear like the whole thing, it's like they shot two and three as one movie because two was supposed to be two and three put together, but it was way too long, so they made it into three movies. I don't know if you know that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I only
Yes.
know that because you told me that.
Yeah. So when they figured out that it was gonna be way too long, they went and did it, and they did episode, like, they just, not episode, they just added it into a third movie, which is why when you finish the second movie, they already have the teaser trailer for the third movie. Um, I personally like all three of them. I think it's a great, like, little. You go through so many different things. I think the characters are so fun. Uh, I like the little hints and like the whole how the whole timeline works. It's just such a classic movie, man. I love the design of the movies. Uh, how just fun and creative and funny it is. Uh, and
Yeah,
even
there's
though
there's a lot of good jokes.
yeah, a lot of good jokes, and it is very like classy and cartoony and stuff like that. But it's to me done very well done, and I like the references, and like I said, I really like time traveling things. Like, I love time traveling movies, and everybody knows that Back to the Future is the best one. So
the first one.
yeah,
I feel like it would make a good TV show. Like if they're gonna remake it, I would want a TV show, but like big budget. Don't skimp
yeah,
out on me.
and it would have to be new characters,
Hmm.
but it'll be cool to have Doc as like, a recurring character, kind of being like, or like in the first episode or something, and be like, hey, we'll give you this, but
Daddy Doc,
Daddy Doc,
Doc Daddy,
Doc Daddy, baby.
Daddy Doc
Um,
Brown.
yeah, so that's my number three.
That's a good number three.
Yeah. Number two.
Number two.
Para español,
Um,
apriete el dos.
yeah. Uh, this I don't even know how to preface it. I'm just gonna say it. Number two for me is Spirited Away. Um,
That's funny. I would never have guessed it. That's Zoe's favorite movie.
I I don't like anime. I hate anime. I think it's insufferable. I've tried different shows. I've tried the good ones, and it's so insufferable to me. I don't like any of it. It's over the top in the word. I hate the
Oh yeah.
all the sound effects, the voice acting. Even in Japanese, like without the English dub, it's miserable to watch to me. Like it's like it's cringe humor to me. Like the way you hate cringe stuff, that's me with anime. I'm like it just makes me like ugh, I hate it. However, um, Miyazaki, I feel like, is outside of it. It is, but it isn't. There's not a lot of that kind of stuff in it. And at the same time, there is. Spirited Away for me, I saw it around 2004. Um, I remember I went to the Fiesta 16 in San Antonio, which, rest in peace, is not there anymore. And I remember it just being at that point like the most creative thing I'd ever seen. It for that to me elevated like animation, children's animated movies, and they have this like introduction with John Lasseter at the beginning, where he's talking about like, wow, this is what a treat. This is I saw it and I immediately had to bring it over to the U.S. What an amazing movie, and it is. It's nonstop. The way Miyazaki writes apparently is he doesn't like structure his stories. He goes from point to point to point to point to point. And for some people that can be very meandery and that can be like what is like the story, what's happening, but somehow he manages to tie it all up in a bow. Um and
So
it
he
feels
goes
like
like,
that.
and then this has happened. How am I gonna get out of this? Okay, maybe if I do this, and no, and then before you know it, he has to finish the
It's just
story.
not written in like a typical movie 3 act structure where like there's an arc here, an arc here, an arc there. He's just writing like, oh, and this happens, and then this happens. Therefore, this happens. Therefore, this, and this one, it definitely feels like that. It starts off a certain place, and then it just keeps growing and growing.
You
Like
know they're
some of the
doing a
most,
stage version of it.
yeah, I think you can watch it, can't you? Like on YouTube or something.
Oh, I don't know. You
I
have
feel
never
like I've
talked
seen
about
pictures
this.
of it.
I've known you
Me?
for 10 years. I don't think you've ever talked about Spirited Away with me.
Oh, I think it's so good. It's the best animated movie ever, I think. It's beautiful. It's the characters are so memorable. I mean, people get characters tattooed on their body. Like it's Nikki has tattoos. Um
Wow. Of the movie,
it's
or she's just bragging?
she's just bragging. They're
I
not of
gotcha.
the movie. She just has tattoos. um it's it's one of those movies that is so intangibly good. What?
Just, I have tattoos. I want to be part of this.
Yeah. It's so
uh,
like a movie's good and you're like, man, I know I'll never be able to come up with something like that. I'm jealous. I'm so jealous of being able to create something like that. And I'm never going to be able to.
yeah.
But that's a good thing. It just makes you relax in the sense like, man, this is just incredible. I can't do this. And it's so cool to see that stuff like this exists in the world. There's people who can make it's like movies at their finest. What a creative from beginning to end story. I it takes my breath away.
You can take my breath away.
So that's it.
Wow. I was not expecting that. Yeah, that's Zoe's favorite movie.
Wow.
Um, and I'm pretty sure you can guess my second one. Wait, why am I frozen?
Uh,
Do I look frozen to you?
yeah, you're
Oh,
frozen. Okay.
oh no.
Is your
What
number two
happened?
the George Lopez show?
Yeah. What the fuck?
Imaging Edge webcam? Did your
Yeah,
camera just die?
oh, that might have been it. God damn it. Let me see. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it did. I'm gonna go get another battery. Give me a second.
Okay, okay. Let me entertain you folks with let's see. We got some honorable mentions on here. Oh, I wrote King Fu Hustle. I wrote it twice. King Fu Hustle. This feels like one of those, like the 3D audio experiences that they did for a while. Like pretend you have a haircut, you know?
Why can I do this?
I'm gonna
Oh
cut
man,
your left ear.
this is fun.
I'm gonna cut your right ear.
Are you still talking? What are you doing?
I'm keeping the audience entertained. Now we're gonna move around the back of the head.
Why can I? What the fuck is happening? Okay.
Now we're gonna file your brain. I'm sorry if this is unappealing, but it couldn't be any more unappealing than just sitting here staring
There.
at each other, right?
All right.
Oh wow.
All right. Oh my god, stop. Okay.
All right, number two.
Ready?
Can you hear me?
For my number two? Well, you can't hear me.
I can hear you.
Oh. All right, boys and girls. Oh my god, I look fatter. Okay. um. My number two.
Wow. I don't know
Pan's
why I didn't
Labyrinth.
think of that.
Yeah. Isn't that cool?
A phone.
The phone. Yeah. Pan's Labyrinth is one of my favorite movies of all time. I still think it's Guillermo del Toro's best movie. Uh, there was another one that was an honorable mention of his that I really like. But this is the kind of movie
Yeah.
like Spirit Away where you go like, how the fuck do you think of something like this? Like,
Yeah.
how do you put this imaginary world in such a hard, like in the middle of a Spanish Revolutionary War, but you have like this other secret world with fairies and monsters and fauns and kings and queens, and it's all based on like with this girl whose mom is giving birth to this crazy general, like but the way that but she uses magic to help her mom, and but nobody knows about it's a whole thing. The art of it is beautiful. I mean, it's one of the most beautiful looking movies in my opinion. uh the direction um the direction is incredible. I think it has one of the best soundtracks of movie history. The characters are so scary, and the scariest character is the general, the dad. I mean, he's a fucking
Yeah.
monster. um the monster design is incredible. I mean, everybody knows, even if you haven't seen the movie, everybody knows the monster, the with the eyes and shit. um
Yeah.
every single little attention to detail in that movie as well with Guillermo del Toro. I mean, he will shoot everything over and over and over again until it's perfect. uh the little, like, the little detail he has, like, even when she's walking with the monsters and you see the table of food, that food, how he makes it look so delicious, and like all these things, and like, she shouldn't do it, but she's gonna do it. The fairies, the every little thing in that movie is unbelievable. It's and like I said, I think one of the coolest things in the movie is like the scariest monster of all tends to be the dad, which is a real human. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so I think like that movie, who doesn't matter who you are, I think it's definitely an incredible watch, and his, in my opinion, his best work.
Oh yeah, I think that's if we want to talk about perfect movies,
Hmm.
like no flaws, no notes. That's definitely one of them. It's
Yeah,
perfect. There's nothing you could do to make it better.
like I know he's making a lot of movies and stuff like that, but I can't see him making something better than that movie.
No,
Like Shape of
it's
Water was really fun, but it does not compete with Pan's Labyrinth.
yeah.
Uh,
I love Shape of Water too. I
mhm.
think that's probably his second best, but Pan's Labyrinth is just
I would say his top
perfect.
three is Pan's Labyrinth number one, Shape of Water number two, and The Devil's Backbone number three.
I still haven't seen Devil's Backbone.
Dude, it's so fucking good.
You
It's his
don't love
first movie he's
Pinocchio?
proud
You
of.
don't love uh
I mean, it was good. It was
yeah.
great, but
I don't feel like people are gonna talk about it the same way. Like, yeah, it was all right.
uh, I also think he should have released it a lot sooner, because he was working on that movie for. I mean, I remember hearing that he was gonna make this like 7 years ago.
Yeah. He tends
With
to
that,
do that though. There's a lot of projects with him that are like, "Oh, that'd be so cool," and then it like
yeah,
dies
but
off.
it also came out while that other shitty ass Pinocchio movie came out, and a bunch of other like live action of different cartoons came out, and so like there was a lot of that. I mean, his was really good. Uh, it was a good version of it, and it was done very well. I think that the shooting of it and everything was like captivating, and the amount of detail and work they went into that film is unbelievable. But I've
Yeah.
seen it,
It
like it was good, but
it's good, just
but
not great.
it's no Pan's Labyrinth.
It's no Pan's Labyrinth.
So that's my number two.
Even Hellboy.
Hellboy was fucking great.
Hellboy is incredible. I
Yeah,
would go back and watch that movie. It's so good.
Hellboy 1 and 2.
Yeah.
All right,
Elbow
so
1 and 2.
Elbow. Ready for some honorable mentions?
Honorable mention time.
Uh, you're gonna laugh at this, but it was between, for my fifth one, it was between Bruce Almighty and The Longest Yard. I fucking
I'm glad
love
you
The
picked.
Longest Yard. Yeah. The Longest Yard. It's one of those movies, man, that I can watch over and over and over and over again. It has a phenomenal fucking cast. It's silly, it's stupid, it's fucking funny. Uh, I like the story. I, I think it was a little too crazy to pick for my number five,
Yeah, that'd be
but it was
controversial.
for sure, like, it's just one of the most fun movies that I like to watch. Um,
Yeah.
what
I
other?
let's get all of these out of the way. I feel like because Pulp Fiction was one of them. Everybody's like, people love Christopher Nolan. I'm like, I don't. I like The Dark Knight, and that's about it. Honestly,
You don't like
uh,
Inception?
no. Have you watched Inception since you saw it?
Yeah, I bought it on
I
Blu-ray.
think I again I think it's one of those movies that like the first half of it you're like, oh, this is really cool, and then like most of it gets so convoluted, and not in a confusing way, in a you didn't have to do this way. Like this is it's getting so uh heady, but in a simple way to me. It's not related to the characters. It's not. It's just you're getting lost, and everybody loves Interstellar too.
I really
I
enjoyed that.
didn't. I, I watched it once and it didn't really have an impact on me. Matthew McConaughey's crying scene is one of the most heartbreaking things I've ever seen in a movie. But other than that,
Yeah.
um,
One of my other honorable mentions was gonna be One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
yeah,
I really like that movie.
that's really good.
It's a really
Like
good
it's
movie.
fun to watch.
Yeah.
It's really which
It
is
was. Yeah. It was gonna be my. It was gonna be number five, or number four, but the only reason why I picked Bruce Almighty is because it has more. Uh, growing up, like that movie affected me a lot. Like I watched that movie so much, and like I said, for
yeah.
more like personal feelings, I was like, and it's also Jim Carrey. I really do believe is his top. I mean, top three best movies, man. Like it's, but One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, incredible cast. I mean, just fucking thinking Back to the Future, Christopher Lloyd is in it.
Yeah,
Uh,
and Danny
Danny
DeVito.
DeVito, Jack Nicholson, Chung and Morongi.
Chungy Marungi did
Yeah,
phenomenal.
yeah, dude.
I have a Jim Carrey movie in my honorable mentions,
Can I guess what it is?
and guess.
The number 23.
Yeah,
His
Sonic the
worst
Hedgehog
movie.
2.
Yeah. uh, is it The Mask?
No,
Uh, is it the
it's kind of
cable guy
related
thing?
to one of your picks. It's the Truman Show.
Oh yeah, I rewatched that the other day. I
I think it's a better version of the Matrix. Obviously, they're hard to compare, but in terms of like they're in the same genre. Like Wake Up,
no,
dude. It's all yeah.
no, because it's they built this stage like this around this one guy, and they have him like it's his whole life is viewed. Everybody has seen him grow up. Just one person. Where the Matrix is like a whole other world, like an actual, and then it's like the machines against the humans, and then
Yeah, but thematically, the point of the story is living an illusion that you believe is correct, and then waking up from that. That's the theme of the stories. So they're as so maybe not literally the same genre because it's not an action movie, but it's in terms of like what the story is about. They're very similar. Um, and to me, the Truman Show, I think it's one of those movies that's it's executed perfectly. It's super high concept, and at the same time it does that well, and it doesn't feel like it throws the concept away in favor of anything. It managed to execute that and have a good story and have good characters all at the same time. um, Great soundtrack.
yeah, it's I one of my honorable mention was gonna be Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. I know you gave it like whatever, but I'm like it's such a good movie. Like, and it's so relatable, and we've all thought of. I mean, I don't think you've ever had your heart broken. Uh, but I feel like everybody
By
that
God.
has, I feel like everybody that has been like, fuck, like I wish I could just forget about this person. Like
Hmm.
it hurts to like to think of them and love them and stuff like that. And I think it's just such a good movie of like, what if you could erase that person out of your mind? How would that work and stuff like that?
Yeah,
And I rewatched it recently and still holds up. I really really like that movie.
I
Um,
just I it that's one of those movies that I acknowledge like everybody as one of the best movies ever, but it's not one that I like. Pretty much all the Charlie Kaufman movies, I'm like I'm just not. It's so those to me are high concept that are intangible for most, not intangible, not digestible for most people because it's so obtuse sometimes.
but
Um,
I think this movie wasn't obtuse. I think it was very straightforward. It's like, well, what can we help you forget that person? And it's I thought it was really cool, like how it starts with with the end of the relationship and the hard times, and he's like, I can't wait to get rid of you. And then as he begins to go back to the beginning of the relationship, he remembers how great it actually was and how
Hmm.
good it used to be. And I think that's very relatable with a lot of breakups. Like,
I'm not
you know,
saying it's not relatable. I'm saying the presentation of it is not digestible to a lot of people. To me, anyway.
well, I mean, it's one of the most loved Jim Carrey movies, so I feel like it is digestible for a lot of people because a lot of people like it.
Hmm. Well, I
Uh,
mean, there's a lot of movies on this list that are like that. Like fucking The Dark Knight. Everybody puts The Dark Knight up there, and it's good, but like,
yeah,
it's just not for me.
yeah. And then one of them that I was gonna, because I wanted to put an animated movie up there.
Uh huh.
Uh, and
Shrek.
it was honestly, man, it's Shrek is one of the best animated films in English
Were you
and
gonna
in
put that
Spanish.
there?
I was.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think Shrek is
Um,
great.
it's one of those movies that I literally cannot tell you which one I like better in Spanish or in English. The voiceovers of, like, you know how you have, like, the greatest one of the greatest comedians of the time voice in Shrek. Same thing in Mexico. You have
Who
one of
is
the
it?
greatest. It's Eugenio Derbez plays
Uh huh.
Donkey, and he's fucking
Who does he
funny.
play for most people who are in America who wouldn't know him? Is he in any American movies?
Yeah, he's in a lot now. He was
What's
in
his name?
Eugenio Derbez. He's in a lot of it right now. He made a transition into the. Did you ever see Instructions Not Included?
Uh, no.
Him.
Oh yeah, he's in everything.
Yeah, he's in a lot.
Yeah,
So
he's great.
I grew up with him because he was like the biggest, like, comedy. He has a sketch show that is fucking hilarious. He
Wow.
had a lot of them throughout. Like, he's a comic, and so he had one of the biggest, like, sketch shows in the '90s. Uh, and everybody knew him because he had a sitcom that was huge called La Familia Peluche, and then De vez en cuando, and, like, he had so many sketches, and so he's a phenomenal character actor. Like, his characters in a lot of these sketches are amazing. Look up Eugenio Derbez characters, and you're gonna
Yeah,
see
he
the
doesn't stop working either.
yeah, no, 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 no. He's like top, like, three, like, producers and actors in Mexico of all times.
Yeah.
So he voices Donkey, and then Shrek is voiced by one of the most famous voice actors. Let me see, what's his name? Uh,
Miguel
uh,
Myers.
Miguel Myers. Uh, Alfonso Obregón, which is
Let's
he's
see.
one of the like, biggest. Let me see, Alfonso Obregón. He does Bugs Bunny, uh, uh, Stimpy from Ren and Stimpy. Uh,
It makes me want to watch it in Spanish.
it's unbelievable, dude. Like, it's one of the only movies that I would say is better than, like, it's about the same, if not maybe a little better in Spanish than it is in English. Um, I mean, it's so good, bro. So that's why I was gonna put Shrek up there. It's
Yeah.
also that my mom laughed a lot, and then the other movie, the last movie that I was thinking about putting up there, you're gonna laugh at this. It's
Uh huh.
so it's one of those movies that I will rewatch with my mom every, like, 5-6 years, and every single time my mom laughs the entire movie, like, hysterically, and it is a
White
really
chicks.
funny movie. It's The Money Pit with Tom
Oh, that's
Hanks.
not a bad one.
Yeah, uh, the only person I've ever heard talk about the Money Pit is my mom, and every time we watch it, we laugh so fucking hard.
Together.
Uh, yeah, it's
They
such a.
they
Hmm?
always advertise it on the Universal Studios tour because
Yeah,
they shot it on their Colonial Street or whatever they call it.
yeah,
So they always show the movies that they clip, and I go, "Oh yeah, Money Pit," every time.
yeah. It's a good movie. You ready
Yeah,
to go for? Fuck, we're already at an hour. Okay,
I
best
have
movie.
one more honorable mention,
All right, go for it.
and that's Shaun of the Dead.
Oh
I
yeah,
think Shaun of the Dead is like it's a perfect zombie movie. It was made with
it's
a
fucking
very
funny.
small budget. It's really funny. It's a great breakup movie. Um, I I think it's such a clever like combination of things. And it's like Edgar Wright's first explosion onto the entertainment scene, and I
Yeah.
think it's very underrated. But I think it's one of the best zombie movies ever made.
Oh yeah, it's good.
Goodbye. All
Uh,
right, number one picks.
all right, go for it.
Number one
But
for me. Guess you already know what it
I
is.
know what
It's
it is.
Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
Hell yeah.
And this one was kind of a selfish pick for me because I don't think it's everyone's cup of tea. But as far as like big budget, Fast and Furious, Marvel, like Terminator 2 for me is the best version of what American Hollywood can be. It was at the time like the most expensive movie ever made. It was a cutting edge use of practical effects, and they did not skimp out on practical effects and CGI for the time,
Well, I mean,
which is
you have that shot with the helicopter where they had to get the helicopter under the bridge, and it was like one of the riskiest stunts they had ever done.
oh yeah. If you
Yeah.
watch, it is like it's stressful because you can see the stunt actors doing so many things. I mean, crazy explosion. It's so over the top, and yet it has a nice little heartbeat going on about John Connor like needing a father figure, and Arnold and him. It's very cute, um, and has a great soundtrack. I talk about it all the time. I think it's the best movie, the best Hollywood movie ever made. Not in terms of like, is it for everybody? No, but in terms of like, if I had to show somebody like this is Hollywood. This is what Hollywood is like. That's what I would show.
Nice. It's such a
Nice.
good fucking movie.
Yeah.
I rewatched it the other day, and just the practical effects and the stunts and everything, I was like, oh my
Yeah.
god.
If you
I'm
can
surprised nobody died.
watch it in a theater because it's so different than watching it at home. Watching it at home is cool, but like they'll screen it at local theaters all the time, and
We watched it
it's
together, right?
awesome.
At the uh, what is that
The
theater? The
Secret Movie Club here in LA.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's so good. Oh fuck.
Hmm.
There's another one that I want to throw in there, but
Which one?
Little Shop of Horrors.
Okay.
That's an honorable mention, though.
Yeah.
I think that's the best movie musical ever made.
Yeah. I don't know. Mamma Mia was pretty good.
Mamma Mia was
uh,
pretty good. Mamma Mia, number two.
all right. My number one, Spy Kids. No, no. Uh, it's of course it's everybody's favorite fucking movie. It's Forrest Gump for sure.
Oh wow, I forgot.
Yeah, it's everybody's favorite movie. It's my favorite movie since I was a kid. I've seen it more than 30 times. It 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 doesn't miss. It's just great fucking soundtrack. Uh, there's so many memorable like moments in it. It's been my favorite movie since I was a little kid. Uh, I mean, I even worked at fucking Bubba Gumps for
Yeah,
3 years.
that you worked there because you love the movie, not because you needed a job. You're like, no, I don't need the money. Fuck the money.
Yeah,
I'm here for the Gump.
yeah, no, that's not true. I needed the money very badly, and they were the ones that hired me. Uh, but but it is my favorite movie. It is a classic. It just I mean, it's Tom Hanks, one of his best roles. It's such a good movie. It's the message that it has is amazing. The character, like the acting, is phenomenal. The soundtrack is still one of my favorite soundtrack of any movies.
Do,
Uh,
do, 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 do.
the Feather is my favorite actor. No,
Yeah.
um, you know, there's like the whole Jenny thing where everybody thinks, where everybody like, Jenny's a fucking bitch. Like, it's
She
funny.
did him
Like
dirty.
as you grow up, you're like, oh my god, Jenny, get Jenny, and then you grow up and you're like, Jenny's a fucking bitch, bro. Fuck her, dude. Oh, now he has
It
money. Now he wants to fucking. She wants to sleep
yeah.
with him now. Or what? If I give him AIDS and
It's
shit.
you feel like you live a whole life when you watch it. Like
Yeah,
you feel like you leave the theater 80 years old.
yeah, yeah. It's you literally see his entire life and the message and everything. Like, and I mean, it's rough, dude. Like, it took me like a little bit, like growing up, to realize like Jenny was molested by her dad. Like, what the fuck, bro? You know what I mean? And like having Forrest be the person to help her like get away from it all, and like you see her, live his life because of his, because of her, horrible life experiences. And then Forrest just making so much money just by being Forrest, just by being like, I just like doing this. um,
Yeah.
it just doesn't hit. I mean, it's always hit. Sorry, and I mean,
I hate it.
you hate Bubba Gum. You
No,
hate
no,
Forrest
no.
Gump. Oh,
I love Forrest Gump.
yeah, everybody loves that movie, dude. Like,
I feel
I
like
mean,
it used to play all the time and it doesn't play as much on cable anymore.
well, nobody watches cable anymore. That's the thing. Uh,
My parents do.
yeah, but okay, well, now, it's really funny working at Bubba Gump's. You see everyone because I worked at the busiest one, and you see people coming from all over the world: Spain, India, France, Italy, Japan, Brazil, Argentina, and they all know the movie. Like we had to do trivia with everybody, and
Give us some trivia right now.
they could barely speak in English, and they'll be like, "Oh, Jenny."
Stupid is, stupid does.
Yeah, everybody fucking knew it. Like, even though like some of the hard questions, like they'll be able to tell you, like it was like unreal watching people from like Russia come and be like, oh, you know what Jenny likes? Jenny, like, oh, you wear Nike shoes to run. Like everybody knows that movie. Like everybody loves that movie, and for good reason. It's one of those movies that I've watched like over 30 times, and if I see it on TV, I'll be like, I can watch this.
Did you ever watch the Bollywood remake of it?
Oh no, but I've heard it's funny.
I want to see it.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, that has been our top five.
That's been our top 5.
Um,
I feel like
yeah,
we've gone through a journey.
yeah,
We've
uh,
gone through I'm exhausted from it.
yeah. Are you really?
Yeah. We've
I
gone through a cinematic journey. I've relived all these movies while we're talking about them. I feel like I've
wow,
watched 12,000
you're my
movies.
hero. Um,
Hey.
I do have an idea for you. We'll talk about it later to change some things about our podcast. But if you are one of the few listeners, and you want to support us, please, please, please like and subscribe. Tell your friends. It does nothing for you; it does everything for us. So even if you only listen to us once in a while or whatever, just tell your friends. Give us a listen. We really, really appreciate that.
On
Uh,
that note,
on the note,
we need a song to play at the end. Oh, good timing. They just started. No Jurassic Park love from this list.
Let me see. Yeah. What is the what is the Forrest Gump one?
Do 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 do.
All right.
Okay.
The Harry Potter one.
Do 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 do.
What is that? To
That's
the
Harry Potter stuff.
Batmobile. All right.
Harry Potter.
Wow. On that note, uh,
Let's end this shit.
bye.
Bye.